You might be living a fake life. 10 years ago, a man was knocked unconscious in a small accident. When he woke up, his life was perfect. He met the love of his life, got married, and had 2 beautiful children. He spent an entire decade building a family and a home. But one afternoon, he noticed his living room lamp looked wrong. It started to vibrate. It began stretching and turning into a flat, 2-dimensional shape. He couldn't look away. He stopped eating. He stopped sleeping. He sat in that chair for 3 days straight, staring at the glitching lamp as the world around him began to dissolve. Suddenly, the lamp swallowed the room. He woke up gasping for air on the sidewalk. It had only been 2 minutes since his accident. His wife, gone. His children, they never existed. He had lost 10 years of a life that wasn't even real. Now look around your room. If something looks just a little bit off, would you want to wake up? Jack heard his mom calling him from the kitchen, but when he looked at the TV, he saw a news report that she had died in a car crash 2 hours ago. The voice was perfect. The same sweet laugh and the exact same tone he'd heard his entire life.
Jack, honey, come help me with the table,
it shouted. But on the screen, he saw a twisted car and a photo of his mother with the headline, "Tragic accident. Local mother killed instantly." Terrified, Jack looked toward the kitchen and saw a shadow standing in the doorway, but it was just a little too tall and its movements were way too stiff. He grabbed a heavy book and slowly crept toward the door, hoping the news was just a mistake. But when he peeked inside, his blood ran cold. His father was sitting at the table, calmly eating dinner while a gray, faceless creature stood over him. Jack realized his house had no real doors, and when he looked out the window, he saw a crowd of strangers taking photos and throwing treats at his front porch. He tried to run outside to confront them, but when he grabbed the front door handle, it didn't even turn. The door was just a piece of painted wood against a solid stone wall. He looked back at his parents and was shocked to see them taking off their human makeup and complaining about how boring their shift had been today. They weren't his family. They were actors hired to keep him happy while the world watched him through hidden cameras. Jack realized he was the star attraction in a human zoo. Dude, hackers in Roblox today are so annoying. Like you're just trying to play Bed Wars and some guy starts flying and stealing your stuff? It's seriously irritating. But you think a flying hacker is bad? Bro, you saw nothing. Back in 2017, the name John Doe was the absolute definition of fear. I'm talking about March 18th, Roblox Doomsday. The amount of kids who actually deleted their accounts just to escape the great hack is seriously insane. Imagine it's 3 a.m. and a guy in a tuxedo is just standing in the corner of a server, staring through your screen without saying a word. It wasn't just a myth, it was pure evil psychological damage. He didn't just ruin games, he traumatized an entire generation. Who do you think is scarier, the John Doe apocalypse or modern hackers? Ben was ashamed of his lazy older brother who sat on the porch all day doing nothing, while their parents worked 2 jobs to pay the bills. Every day when Ben came home from school, he would walk past his brother Leo without saying a word, disgusted by his lack of ambition. He even told his friends that Leo was broken and just wanted a free ride through life. He couldn't understand how someone could be so selfish while everyone else was struggling. One afternoon, Ben was looking for a charger in Leo's room when he found a crumpled hospital letter hidden at the bottom of a drawer. His heart stopped as he read the words, "terminal stage," and 3 months remaining. Ben realized Leo wasn't being lazy. He was in a level of physical pain that most people couldn't even imagine. Bro, we all have that one friend who is terrifyingly smart, but also the laziest person on the planet. This guy will literally sleep through the entire semester. While you're pulling all-nighters, he's at home doing absolutely nothing. You'll ask him if he's ready for the final, and he'll look at you with 0 thoughts behind those eyes and say,
"Wait, we have a final?"
But then, 10 minutes before it starts, he skims the textbook once, walks into the room, and finishes the test before you've even written your name. You get your grades back a week later, you barely scraped a B-, and he got a 99% without even trying. But the craziest part? He just shrugs and says,
"I don't know, it just kind of made sense. Anyway, I'm gonna go nap for 15 hours.
Share this to your lazy genius friend. I swear we all have that one friend who's a total phone ghost. Trying to reach them is like calling into the void. They'll post a dozen Instagram stories, their lunch, their dog, a mirror selfie, all while your text from hours ago sits on delivered. Bro, I can see your hands. I know you're holding that phone. The worst part? 3 days later, they finally reply, "Sorry, bro, my phone died." Your phone died for 72 hours? You posted 20 stories yesterday. Chris found a hidden board in the basement with photos of every kid who lived in the house before him, and they all looked exactly like him. He was just looking for a lost ball when he pushed aside a heavy bookshelf and saw the display tucked into a dark corner. There were dozens of Polaroids and black and white photos dating all the way back to 1974. Every single boy had the same messy hair, the same freckles, and the same birthmark on his cheek. His blood ran cold as he noticed his parents in every single picture. While the boys changed slightly from decade to decade, his mother and father hadn't aged a single day in 50 years. They wore the same clothes and the same frozen smiles in every photo, from the grainy shots of the 70s to the high-def pictures of today. Chris realized he was just the latest version in a long, dark cycle. He looked at the very end of the board and saw an empty frame labeled with today's date and the word replace. Suddenly, the basement door clicked shut, and he heard his father's calm footsteps on the wooden stairs. Ruby thought her mom was hiding a secret boyfriend because she left the house every night at 10 p.m. For weeks, Ruby watched her mother put on her favorite red lipstick, spray her best perfume, and slip out the back door with a mysterious smile. Whenever Ruby asked where she was going, her mom would just blush and say,
I'm just out having some fun, honey. You're only young once, and so am I.
Ruby felt a deep sense of betrayal, convinced her mom was out at fancy dinners and parties while they were struggling to pay the bills at home. One night, Ruby couldn't take the curiosity anymore and followed her mother's car across the city to a massive, dark office building. She expected to see a man waiting at the entrance, but instead, she saw her mother park in the very back of the lot where nobody would see her. Ruby watched through a side window as her mother wiped off her lipstick, tied her hair back in a messy bun, and traded her nice coat for a faded, stained janitor's uniform. Ruby sat in her car, tears streaming down her face as she looked at the college tuition bill sitting on her dashboard. A bill for $50,000 that her mother had promised was already taken care of. She finally understood why her mother's back was always aching and why she was always too tired to eat breakfast. Ruby realized there was no secret boyfriend. Her mom was working a third job through the night just to pay for Ruby's college tuition. Sophia thought a stalker was following her home every night. For 3 long years, she heard the same heavy footsteps behind her, stopping whenever she stopped and moving whenever she moved. After a tragedy struck her town, she lived in constant terror, never looking back and just running toward her front door. She felt like a prisoner in her own neighborhood, convinced that one day, the shadow would finally catch her. One night, she decided she couldn't take the fear anymore. She hid behind a large tree, clutching a heavy rock and ready to scream for help. As the figure approached, she jumped out to face the monster that had been haunting her, but the words died in her throat. Standing there was her older brother, looking exhausted and scanning the street for danger. She realized that he had given up his entire social life for 3 years just to walk 5 paces behind her in the shadows, making sure she got home safe.
Bro! Imagine if Elon Musk owned Roblox. First thing, he changes the name to X Blocks and swaps every single Robux for Dogecoin. You log in and find a golden Cybertruck sitting in your inventory for free. You're like, I'm the richest player ever. I love you, Elon. Now, instead of normal games, every map is a race to build a city on Mars. He even adds a special button that lets you launch your annoying friends into deep space for only 10 Doge. Everyone is building rockets and living in the year 2050. Wholesome. Until one guy starts ranting.
Technology is boring. Why can't we just have normal cars?
Suddenly, the whole server goes silent. Every single player hops in their Tesla and rams him at 200 miles an hour. How dare he insult the king of Mars? Elon probably bought his house in real life just to delete it. Comment if you want Elon Musk to own Roblox.
Bro, imagine if a grandma owned Roblox. The first update is legendary. She drops 100,000 Robux to every player and says, treat yourself, honey. You check your balance and you're like, oh my god, I'm finally rich. Wholesome. But you think it stays easy? No! She deletes the sprint button. It takes 30 minutes to cross Brookhaven because you have to use a walking stick. What? Moving like a snail is an absolute disaster. But wait, it gets better. Every shop becomes free and gives out unlimited warm cookies and milk that give you a massive health boost. Sui, this is the greatest vibe ever. Until you enter the town square without a knitted sweater. Grandma gets worried you'll catch a cold and forces you to wear a giant, itchy pink poncho. Everyone is laughing while you're stuck knitting in the middle of the street. It's so embarrassing. No! Comment if you love your grandma.
Bro, imagine if I Show Speed owned Roblox. You log in, and the first thing you hear is the menu screen barking at you. He gives every single player a free Cristiano Ronaldo jersey. You're like, Sui, I love you, Speed! Now every time you win an obby, your character has to hit a backflip and bark into the mic. But then, a message pops up.
Anyone supporting Messi gets deleted.
But guess what? No one complains, because we love the energy. Everyone's like, Ronaldo is the only GOAT! Until one guy starts ranting.
Ronaldo is mid. Messi is the real GOAT.
Then suddenly, the whole server goes quiet. Everyone turns and jump him together! How dare he disrespect the Sui? Comment if you are Team Ronaldo or Team Messi.